Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Want to be a part of the Nerd Party community? Don't forget to like our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/thenerdparty and follow us on Twitter at @JoinNerdParty. You can also help us by leaving a rating and comment in Apple Podcasts to help spread Time and Space to other listeners. If you want to contact us, visit thenerdparty.com/contact, click on our show logo, and leave a comment for us there. Time and Space, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Jessica Nunn.
And I'm her husband and co-host, Philip Gilfus. October continues, and so does our celebration of all things 10th Doctor and
Yay.
David Tennant. And so we're going to be talking about a series, I guess this is our part 2 in our ongoing series of Char, First Time Doctor Whoing. We have our guest, Charlynn Schmiedt. Char, how are you doing?
Hey, it is very good to be here talking Doctor Who. Yes, I have watched another season and it didn't take me 6 months to do it. Aren't you proud?
Very proud.
Oh, wow.
I was dedicated, but this was also a very good season.
Yes.
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 And for our Inside the TARDIS Library segment, we're going to be talking about Blackpool, David Tennant's other TV series he did. Another pre-Doctor Whoing. So
was it pre-Doctor Who?
It was pre-Doctor Who. So.
All right. And we're playing drinking games.
That's right.
I think every time somebody says the word doctor, we all have to drink something.
Oh, you're going to have to excuse me. I need more liquor.
I'm just going to call him Who then. So.
Wait a minute. Doctor Who?
Oh, damn it.
Take a drink.
I got it. So, let's just, for those maybe who haven't been listening to you, Char, just briefly or longly explain your history of watching Doctor Who.
Okay, so for starters, this is all your fault.
I know.
Yeah. Philip is one of the two people who can convince me to watch a show, just finally nudging me. The other person is Tristan Riddell, my co-host on Punch It, which is also on the Nerd Party Network. If you guys tell me to watch a show, I know it's good, and you can usually convince me to do it. Well, for years I had contemplated watching Doctor Who. It was a lot of history. It was by then more than a 50-year franchise, and I thought, I don't know if I'm ready to make this kind of commitment. It's a lot. And you said with the 13th Doctor, look, they're starting off with, it's a fresh start. There's going to be more kind of an episodic feel to it. This is about as easy and gentle of an entry point as you're going to get. Take it, Char, take it. And I said, okay, I'll do it. So my first Doctor was Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor. Watched that series. We reviewed that on the show. And then you told me to go back and watch Christopher Eccleston. We did that, did a show on that. And now I have seen 3 Doctors with David Tennant.
That's right. You were on your 3rd series of Doctors, and you're also on your 3rd first series of Doctors. So you've seen the first series
Yes,
of 3
I
different Doctors. So you've seen what beginnings look like, right?
I'm getting the medley. Yes.
Yes.
So, and you don't literally have to rank them, but you can if you want. But now having, like you said, seen the first series of the 13th Doctor, the first series of the 9th Doctor, the only, but still the first, and the first series of the 10th Doctor, comparisons, contrast, anything? Do they seem like, and certainly between 9 and 10 and 13, about 10 plus years separates those. So, but kind of, what do you think of how Russell, who did 9 and 10, and
Chris
did 13? How do you think of how they introduced Doctors for a series?
Yeah, I'm noticing that the regeneration process, well, it's a process, right? It can take a lot of time. It can take a lot of effort. It's not always instantaneous, because the whole Christmas special, the Doctor was in a coma, right? Mm-hmm. So I learned that, and I also learned that, like, every time the Doctor regenerates, it takes some time to reacquaint the Doctor with the new body. And we saw that with Jodie Whittaker, but I mean, seeing it again with David Tennant kind of really solidified that for me as to what a process that is. So I got to that, but then seeing a little bit of a contrast between doctors, I'd say David Tennant and Jodie Whittaker are probably a little closer for being my favorites. Not that Chris Eccleston was bad. He played kind of like a different facet of the Doctor, though. He was coming right off of what happened with this big war that I don't know anything about yet. And he's just tortured and traumatized by it, right? And then it seems like by the time we get to the 10th Doctor, that has worn off a little bit. He's a little more goofy. We see an episode where he gets drunk. There's all sorts of fun stuff going on, and he and Rose are just, they're like this right now. They're really getting on. They're having a lot of fun. They're doing some really cool adventure-y stuff. And this particular season of Doctor Who really just seems to be firing on all cylinders. Now, with Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, it does seem like they got off to a little bit slower of a start. They're moving in a slightly different fashion just because I think they're using that more episodic format to slowly bring a new crop of fans in, whereas this played off of a lot of things that have happened before with David Tennant and then previous Doctors, and we'll get into all that. So, I mean, I don't know if I want to rank them yet as far as like who's my favorite, but this was certainly a fun incarnation of the Doctor, and I definitely see reflections of Jodie's Doctor with David Tennant's Doctor, yada yada.
We've been watching some DVD or Blu-ray extras, and it's sort of David Tennant's video cam, so a little
video diary.
Yeah, video diary he took on set. So this is during this series.
Oh, nice.
And so it's interesting when you look at the dates because he's filming his first scene as the Doctor in August or July. Reminder: Doctor Who, as in the new Who, premiered in March. So Doctor Who, as a new series, has only existed for a few months because of Chris's exit, and so it's weird that he's in so early. Filming as the 10th Doctor when really I don't know how much I mean, it's been March, it's been a couple of months, so they know it's not a loser, right? But still, it's so new, and of course, he wouldn't actually premiere until December in the Christmas episode, but it was kind of interesting to watch him embrace that role early on.
Yes, and his nerves with it is really...
As a fan, because David Tennant, if we haven't said it, David Tennant is a Doctor Who fan. Like, he's watched Doctor Who since he was a kid.
I figured as much. I figured he was a massive Doctor Who nerd just because his enthusiasm for playing the Doctor really shines through. He knows what is going on with this show, and it definitely reflects in his performance. That's what makes it so fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even as a casual fan, I definitely caught on to that.
Yeah, and also interesting in the video diaries, they talk about, they filmed the season over the course of, I think he said 8 months, 8.5 months, something like that. Completely out of order.
Really? Oh, this I did not know.
Completely out of order. Like, he talks about filming Rose's last scene.
On the beach.
On the, that beach scene.
What?
And he's like... it's Billy Piper's last scene, except it's not really because we have another 5 episodes to film, but now we're filming this, and it's just...
to imagine from Billy's perspective as an actress, you have to give it your all that you're saying goodbye, but you're not, because you still have how many more months of filming.
Why did they do that? Also, okay, so I know British TV is different than American TV. Usually it's a reason... on an American show that the person wants out of their contract or their contract is up and they want off the show. Did Billy Piper want off the show, or was this just written in like, okay, it's time for a new companion, we're going to put this in?
Yeah,
what do you know
I don't actually know.
I would assume that she left, of her own volition.
Yeah, and I don't know the timeline at all, but of course shortly thereafter we get the Diary of a Call Girl, which she was on. So I don't know if that
which she starred in. Yeah, because this is her, and I mansplain everything, right? But this is her first TV gig. Like I said, as we told you, coming from pop stardom. And so now that she's sort of established 2 series under her legs, and she's now everyone's not like Billy Piper. No, they're like, oh, Billy Piper. And so now
she's an actress. That's the thing.
So now she can sort of chart her own course.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so did she kind of know she had this new thing on the horizon, and then that was
that's
kind of
what
it?
I wonder, if she wasn't putting feelers out for other things, and then Diary of a Call Girl came up,
Okay.
which I've never seen. We should look it up.
Yeah.
And see if
And
we
then
can
did
find it.
she? Because I know she has children now, so I don't know at what point then she
No, I don't know either.
remarried and had kids.
Yeah. And then she's also in Penny Dreadful.
Oh, that's
Is
true.
that right? She does Penny Dreadful. So, yeah.
So just moving on in his career. Yeah, because, I mean, from a Classic Who perspective, and I know that's not the same thing with companions, because I think in the Classic Who era, I think they mostly kicked companions off. I don't know how of them did it voluntarily. But as far as the Doctors, Pat Troughton, the second Doctor, sort of established, because other Doctors would talk to each other, actors.
Okay.
And he said probably 3 years is as much as you want to go, mate. So as far as Doctors, you'll see 3 years, 3 to 4 years. Because it's a lot of work, and they want to do other things. Both,
And I think, again, because the British theatre world is so small, there are more opportunities.
Sure,
if that makes
sure.
sense.
Right.
And so,
Well, yeah, theater's so
3
big there,
years, and
right?
they go try something else. Yeah, and it's such a small country, and so everybody does everything. There are a lot more opportunities to, right, if I walk away from that. I don't have to settle in and do 11 seasons, because who knows what else I'll ever get.
And also the thing about Doctor Who, I mean, people don't necessarily ever leave. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know if Star Trek's necessarily like it the same way, but Doctor Who, you are part of the, because with Doctor Who, of course, there's a different series, whereas Doctor Who is just Doctor Who. But people don't leave, as we'll talk about with Sarah Jane. So once you're in Doctor Who, whether it's a year later, 3 years later, 40 years later, you can always come back.
Okay.
Because obviously all the people who are the head writers are Doctor Who fans. So yeah,
They've
they're
got
like,
to be, sure.
Yeah, and so especially if you worked under the same person, so whether the Moffat era or the Davies era or now Chibnall, but you can reuse an old character, it's yours. Or if you want to go back and bring in, Sarah Jane, or if you want to bring in K9, or if you want to bring in, whatever, so
You can and you will, huh?
Yeah, so long
and people seem to be more than willing to come back.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Harriet Jones.
Yep. So, yeah. But long story short, I'm pretty sure, I'm 95% sure Billy just left, said, hey, let you know, Russell, I want to move on. I don't know about the next ones that we'll talk about. I mean, not this time, but in future series. I assume it's always going to be that way, but I don't know. I'll have to ask about Fremo. I don't know.
Yeah, that was going to be my question.
I don't know. But anyway, again, she... shh, don't listen, Char. But she comes back, so I don't. It's not it's not like any animosity.
Yeah.
So
I'd be interested in.
The only one who hasn't come back is Christopher. So let me just put it that way.
Yeah.
You dropped that hint before. This is not news.
Yeah.
And whether Clara made the choice, or
that's
if it
true.
was just
Well, she just did
about...
Victoria after that, so.
Well, yeah, Jenna Coleman. But whether or not they were sort of like, the chemistry isn't really working with Peter Capaldi. We want to take it in a different direction.
Because there was only one series left after that. So,
yeah.
But anyway, sorry not to drink it. But I'll say, it seems to me in the New Who era, only... Well, Chris didn't get fired. He fired himself. But everyone else, it seems, is...
He made a choice to not renew his contract.
Yeah. So, but everyone else, I think, whether it's the Doctor or companions, I think, either left voluntarily or it was a transition where it was a new showrunner. And then
new era.
The showrunner, it's sort of like, a new president, everyone resigns, and then you don't know if you're getting, So I think the new showrunners,
Quick, this is jumping ahead a little
Sure.
bit, but... Going from the David Tennant era to the 11th Doctor, is that essentially what happened, is change of administration?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, I don't know how much you pay attention to the writing credits, but Stephen Moffat starts writing in this season, Series 2, and he's going to be the next showrunner. So if you start paying attention to the Moffat episodes, that'll give you a taste of what's to come.
Okay. So the Davies era comes to a close, and then he takes over.
Exactly.
Yes. And then while Moffat is the showrunner, if you keep an eye out
Chibnall
for the
starts
Chris
writing.
Chibnall episodes.
Okay. So
then
it's just
he
kind of this
starts
constant
writing.
evolution, how they're grooming
Actually-
new people to take over.
He starts next season. Chibnall starts 42 as a Chibnall
Okay.
episode. So you'll see Chibnall starting next year is writing for Doctor Who. So, yeah.
And again, I think it's the fan aspect. You know, they're enough of a fan to want to write for it. And so then when they know that the showrunner position is coming open, they're like,
yo,
yes, please.
We know who's perfect.
I'm over here.
Yes.
You know, I'm in the middle of doing Broadchurch right now, but...
Yeah. And you know, there's only been 3 showrunners at this point to date, and so it's hard to really do a trend, but they've certainly all been fans and all have written, so... Cool.
That's cool. That's super cool.
So
and
let's
the British
focus...
seem to have less of a problem with moving on, like American TV does.
Yeah, 1 and done, or 2 and done, and, you know, that's it.
Right?
Yeah.
It was good while it lasted. See ya.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there is that sort of attitude of, and go out while it's still good.
Yes. British TV knows when to stop. Whereas here, it's like, oh, milk it until it's just dead.
Yes, and don't get me wrong, I'm still watching Grey's Anatomy season 15, but let's be honest, it could have ended years ago.
Right. But if people still watch and tune in, they get them advertising dollars.
Yes,
There you go.
and that's part of, very much so, the BBC.
It's a public network.
Because it's a public network, and so they don't take advertising dollars, and so that's not the thing that drives them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so.
And also, I think, conversely, which I don't pretend to be an expert, because you're working on BBC, you're getting BBC pay. So some of these actors might want to, you know, do a movie, do another series, do, you know, something else.
Move on to something that pays better.
Yeah.
Unless you're David Tennant, who got paid a lot of money.
Yes. But, you know, that's you know, there's X amount in Doctor Who, so that goes to salary, you know, so.
Yeah.
Doctor Who's not very high on the budget?
No. I mean, surprisingly, no. I mean, you know, I'm sure from 2005 to now, it's probably one of its most expensive programs, but it's still not, you know, going to have...
It's still government funded.
Because, and again, this isn't any backhanded, especially to our British listeners, but know that, you know, British productions, as a rule, are always going to be there's less money than American productions. Just
sure.
X.
Yeah.
And then you're on BBC, so even less, and so, you know, etc.
Okay, I thought BBC was just kind of the king in Britain as far as TV production. Like, if you hit BBC, you were doing okay.
I think you're probably right in terms of TV production.
But it's just there's so much else, and especially theater is so big there that...
Theater is so big, and movies, and of course now with Netflix and Hulu, all the other sort of streaming services, there are places where you can make a lot more money.
And their model
gotcha.
is what ours used to be. So in other words, and I know you know this, so again, I'm sorry if I'm mansplaining, but like the BBC it's like ABC, CBS, and NBC. That's all there was.
Right.
So, you know, there's nothing. And then, you know, in the past 20 years, you know, you have ITV, you have
E4. And,
you know, you have everything else. But, you know, so there was BBC 1, 2, and then BBC 3 came along. You know, that's the new boy, or new kid on the block. And, you know, however long ago that was. And so, yeah.
Yeah, but more competition. That's really interesting because I noticed a major... Not that last season was bad, but I definitely noticed bigger production values. They're trying more things. They're giving it more of that cinematic, larger-than-life feel. And it just feels like they really kicked it up a notch with this season. So I thought, they probably gave it a little more of a budget after that first season was really good, and it probably gained some notoriety. But from what you're telling me, maybe that wasn't so much the case. They did up their game, but not because they got more money.
Well, and they may well have gotten more money, but... when you're looking at more money for this versus more money for...
EastEnders, I don't know.
yeah, or which is not ever going to be a big budget. They're not going to do a whole lot of CGI or things like that. So, yeah, for BBC, they probably have a pretty decent budget. For something that happens over here, less so.
Gotcha.
So, proportionally.
But I think, you know, obviously the first series was successful because, you know, it's a risky proposition. And again, it's not a reboot, but you know what I mean. You know, they re-brought back Doctor Who, which is, you know, what's going to happen, no one knows. You think it's going to be, but obviously series one was a success.
But the eighth Doctor movie wasn't the success they hoped
that it needed to be.
That it needed to be for them to bring it
Asterisk,
back.
yeah.
So them... trying it another time. This is their second time trying it, so they're going to be even more
cautious.
We'll see. We'll see. But they did shell out the money for Christopher Eccleston.
Yes.
So whatever that means.
So let's talk about the 10th Doctor in and of himself. What did you think, now that you've seen, like you said, 13 and 9, what do you think of the 10th Doctor, and what's different or what's special about him?
Well, I think the fact that David Tennant is such a fan really fuels his performance. He is fun, he's a little whimsy, but you know he can get the job done. And I really think, and this is not seeing the 11th or 12th Doctor, but I feel like the 10th Doctor and the 13th Doctor have the most in common. Mm-hmm. And it's just, they're fun to watch. They're a little goofy at times. And you don't really know exactly what's going to come out of their mouths. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, very thoughtful, knows what to do, knows how to get things done. And there's just something about David Tennant's expression in his eyes that is so fun to watch.
Dogs.
I could just watch his eyes.
Mm-hmm. Because he goes both ways. He can do the puppy dog that makes you want to cry, but then he also has the fierce eyes.
The steel.
That means, no second chances,
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, they say everything, and it's a lot of fun. I love his energy. I love his presence. I feel like you could walk into a room, and you know he's there because you just feel him. Before you even see him, you know he's there because you feel it. Some people just have that gravitas that's David Tennant. Yeah, like I want to just run into that room and give him a big hug.
Yeah, you're going to start listening to the podcast.
I really like this
now,
Doctor, if you couldn't tell. So yeah, I was digging this season hardcore.
And it's just a small thing, but I'll ask about it anyway. What do you think of the 10th Doctor uniform? We have suspenders and whatever with the 13th. You got the leather jacket 9th. Yeah. What do you think of the 10th Doctor's look? Spiky hair and a suit.
It's fine. I'm really neither here nor there on his wardrobe. Like, it's fine, but it's not as creative as 13's. Like, I feel like that really just suits her. But it's not as dark as the 9th Doctor. It's somewhere in between. It's like a weird transition period for him a little bit. But it suits him, so it's
brown.
Fine.
Yeah, because the 9th is like black, and so now we're going to more brown.
Yeah.
And then, So,
I mean, he looks good. That's really all I have to say.
Skinny
I don't know. It's kind of nondescript for him, though.
Yeah. I think the ties Prince is about as crazy as things get sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. And so let's talk about the woman who will say goodbye, Rose, who you saw before. But what do you think of Rose in Series 2?
Well, it was a lot of fun to see Billie Piper get a chance to play around a little bit. Where, say, like in the episode where Cassandra takes over Rose's body, and she gets to basically be Cassandra, and then there's a part where she's the Doctor, going from personality to personality. It showed that, hey, you know what? Guess what? She has some chops. She can do this job. She's very good.
This is for my show reel.
Yeah, I felt like Rose and the Doctor had a lot of great synergy going on. Even though this is a new Doctor, they knew each other. They already had some connection going on, and then they just, exploded with it, ran with it. And it was a lot of fun seeing them just high-fiving each other and going through time and space. Great stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Not to skip to the end, but one thing we talked about in our last episode was the 10th Doctor's romances. So we have this tearful goodbye, and I know you're all full of doomsday thoughts, but just to focus in on this. So you have Rose telling the 10th Doctor, I love you. So... And then the 10th Doctor may be about to respond. I mean, he did, whatever. But anyway, I guess what do you think of Rose and the 10th Doctor's relationship? What did it seem like to you?
It's interesting, right? Just because, especially when you have Mickey around, who is so obviously the third wheel, the poor guy.
The tin dog.
The tin dog.
He really. I mean, it's just like, Mickey, you do need to get out of the way here, because it might not be necessarily a physical romance, but there's definitely love there, right? They have an intimate relationship. They are in an emotional relationship with one another. For sure. And sorry, Mickey, he's not a part of that. I mean, he is, but he isn't, right? He comes to that conclusion where he needs to go his own way. And so when that finally happened, I was relieved for him. he needed to be his own person, the poor guy.
Mm-hmm.
Of course,
It's
then
never
he
fun
gets
being the
dragged right back into it.
Yeah, well.
At the end, I mean, you know, the doctor says, but you've still got Mickey.
Yeah, well, so, afterthought,
And
whatever.
There he is.
Consolation prize.
Yeah, Rose, her
That's-
mom, her dad, Mickey.
Yeah, I did find it interesting in the episode where the doctor tells Rose, like, it's probably best not to fraternize with an alternate version of your family, and then seeing what ultimately happened.
Yeah.
Melding of everything, making the happy ending.
Never mind,
Yes.
never mind.
Yes, so I'm very curious to know, like, if and when Rose does come back, how does she come back? Why does she come back? Is it actually Rose? What is going on here? I have so many questions, you guys.
Well, I'll flip the question on you. So obviously I didn't tell you Rose is leaving this season, and I don't know
No,
if
you
you ever...
didn't, you bastard.
So I guess it wasn't until the final two that you thought, oh, wait a minute.
I'm like, what? Because I intentionally do not do
Yes.
background information. I don't know what's going to happen. I know nothing about the 11th or 12th Doctors. So this was a complete surprise. So when they throw in that introduction where Rose says, this is the story of how I die, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? What?
I know you texted me like, she's going to die the next episode? How are they going to do this?
So it's not so much what happens, but how they get there, right? Which is the fun in telling the story. So it didn't quite land in the place where I thought. I thought we were actually going to see her physically die, kill her off. And so when they didn't, I thought, the door's still open.
No, they
Well.
closed the door. Didn't you pay attention? No.
Yeah.
If they did, but they
Literally,
didn't,
when the
though.
doctor disappeared, that was the door.
That's true. They had the little...
Anything's possible, right? So the
Right.
fact that she didn't actually die said there's potential for more Rose, and that made me happy because I love Rose. I don't
Right.
want her to go. Yeah, I got a little attached, I think.
No, yeah. So I think that was... So how do you think about... So, if you had known Rose is going to leave, did you think this was the best way to do it?
That's a loaded question. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would depend more on behind the scenes. Like, let's say Billy Piper just said, you know what, I'm so done with Doctor Who. I'm never coming back, a la Chris Eccleston. I whatever. Then I could see them actually killing off the character. But seeing as how it was more of like an amicable split, well, I appreciate the fact that there's room to come back. And especially seeing when Sarah Jane comes back. The fact that she used to be a companion. And, I imagine for longtime fans, that was a huge burst of nostalgia. And it was a lot of fun. As much fun as it was for me to watch as a first-time fan, knowing they were touching in on that nostalgia, I knew I was missing out on some things because I'd never seen her before and I'd never seen K9 before. So for the people who knew what exactly that was, I was just thinking, those people are having a really freaking good time.
Yes.
So someday when I see Rose again, I'm going to have that cute fangirling moment. Like, that's my girl. She's here. Yeah. I'll be
Yes.
super excited.
And David Tennant, it appeared, was having that fangirl moment when...
Oh, yeah. One of the things in the videos and then the extras, he talks about, Elizabeth's... Because his first read-throughs, as, ever, they did 3 episodes. So they did Christmas Invasion, New Earth, and Tooth and Claw. So Elizabeth Sladen was there for his first read-through. So he's like, you're cast as the Doctor and you're seeing the person who you watched growing up. Now, and you're now the Doctor. And so he was definitely a fan.
Fangirling. Yeah.
That's so cool.
He said he didn't really have to act about, what it's like to see Sarah Jane again, because that's what it's like.
That's awesome.
And then he said at one point in his video diary, he was like, K9! And it was like exactly the way he says it when he opens the trunk and K9's there. And I was just like, oh.
He's like, is it going to be the same? Is it going to be different? And so, yeah.
And then he was like, he's kind of useless.
Yeah, just like it used to be. Because they would have a problem in the classic series, too. Like, how do you get him out of the TARDIS and into the TARDIS? Because it's not level, so.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yes.
Oh, how funny. Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
What a trip.
Now, was Elizabeth Sladen doing the Sarah Jane Adventures? She hadn't. Okay.
So you have 2 spinoffs now. You have the Sarah Jane Adventures, which will now start.
Okay.
I mean, in your universe. And then you'll have Torchwood, of course.
Yes. Oh, and a lot of setting up of Torchwood in this season.
Yes.
Yeah, so last year was Bad Wolf. This year is Torchwood.
Yeah. I don't know what to think of Torchwood, having not seen any of the show proper, but the setup... we live in a dystopia. I don't know if I want to delve into another dystopia show.
Yes. Yeah. I see that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I watched enough of Torchwood before we lived in this dystopia.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
But it's Captain Jack, so... Yeah.
It is...
That's just it. I was about to say Captain Jack is in Torchwood, isn't he? And so I really missed Captain Jack this season. I would like to see more of him. Dang it, I'm torn.
Maybe give it another year and see how you feel.
Well, I mean, I would say watch the first episode. Okay. And I'm trying to remember because this is hurting my head with the timeline. Because I'm trying to remember because obviously Torchwood had to start after this series ended. Because it's the fall of Torchwood 1 is referenced in the first season of Torchwood. Which, this isn't a spoiler, but I'll tell you. Torchwood is Torchwood 3. So,
okay.
So, I mean, that's... so, that's referenced. But the ending... And so I think this entire series of Torchwood would have had to air while Doctor Who was on hiatus. And then I think Torchwood Season 2 and Doctor Who Series 3 probably aired the same time, because the season closer of Series 2 of Torchwood kicks off the last 2 episodes of Doctor Who Series 3.
Oh, wow. So we've got lots of crossover going on, don't we?
Yeah, a little bit.
And not lots.
But
not
a little
lots,
bit, yeah.
But definitely a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's connection. They want you to watch both concurrently, yes?
Yes. Yeah. I think it's with Torchwood.
Okay.
Yeah, because Torchwood was on 2? BBC 2 or BBC 3?
Maybe.
Because it was the, sexy Doctor Who. So, it wasn't on the main BBC.
Because anything you put John Barrowman in is going to be the sexy, not regular.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But anyway, so that's all to say, you don't have to watch all of Torchwood. I mean, you could, but you don't have to. But just to know there is some cross-contamination.
First 2 seasons are worth watching. I think that's where it starts to get wonky, isn't it? 3 and 4 were...
Yeah, because 3's Children of Earth. I think.
That's what I was thinking.
No, it's not. That's a lie. Sorry, because Torchwood bleeds together. I think, no, it's 3 seasons, and then people leave, and then Children of Earth is 4th, and then Miracle Day is 5.
Okay. Skip
anyway.
4 and 5.
So anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I did say that. That was
I'm taking notes.
Yeah. But anyway. So let's talk. So we talked about Sarah Jane. We talked about Mickey, K9.
Jackie.
Jackie. What do you think of Rose's mom?
That little cougar. I loved her this season. I said in the last time we recorded, I wasn't expecting Mickey or Jackie to really have a whole lot of involvement, just because I think with the 13th Doctor, there's kind of like a minimal involvement with the actual families and the companions. So to see them kind of intertwine this a little more got really interesting really fast. And the idea that time, goes by a little differently between Doctor Adventures and then what's happening on Earth. That's pretty interesting, where she thought Rose was probably dead, a whole year. And then there's also the whole thing, the ghosts, at least when it's ghost time toward the end of the season. Okay, for what? That's acceptable? All of a sudden there's not massive panic? Really? Really? No. Humans are just going to freak the F out about this, okay? This is not going to be okay ever. So I had a hard time buying it, and yet here it is. But Jackie, in and of herself, oh my God, she's fun. Definitely a cougar. Definitely a lot of fun, and definitely spending too much time at the laundromat.
Yes.
Looking for a date, I presume.
One presumes. She does come back for some audio.
Oh, audio adventure.
Yeah.
Big Finish. Big
does
Finish is the well, it's an audio company, but it does a lot of Doctor Who, like predominantly Doctor Who, and so
Okay. I also like the alternate version of Jackie. Who's
the
married
rich.
to evil Rose's dad.
Well, who ultimately becomes,
And Rose is a freaking dog. I put in my notes, Rose is a dog in all caps, OMG.
So at least it's not a 10 dog. You don't want to be the 10 dog. You can be a real dog, I guess.
Real
That's
dog
the
is
ultimate
better
curse,
than,
huh?
Exactly.
Greater than.
Sure. So now I have sort of a list of the episodes in front of us, but as the new watcher, what are the episodes that sort of really stood out for you this season? Other than Doomsday, of course, I guess.
Well,
we'll come back
Doomsday's
to it.
definitely... That's the most fresh in my mind because I watched that just yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I really liked Fear Her
Okay.
with Chloe. That was just kind of it kind of was a standalone in a little bit of a way. But it was just kind of a cool concept. It was almost not quite Twilight Zone-y, because I said that for another episode in my notes. I'll go find it. But I loved the fact that they were covering the 2012 Olympics in 2006.
Yes,
That was great.
yes.
Yeah.
But also, we learned that the Doctor isn't a cat person, and then I put in my notes, I don't know if I can continue with the show.
Well, he's a dog person, obviously. Isn't he?
Talk
I
about
guess,
the cat.
I guess.
We just watched the...
But I really liked that episode, and I really loved Love and Monsters. Because
Okay,
it was fun.
That was the episode I wanted to warn you, to give you a heads up about. And you're like, which one? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you. So Love and Monsters was the one I was most curious about your reaction. So tell me about what you thought about that. And then I'll tell you about what the conventional wisdom is.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's 2006, right? This dude's blogging. That's so cute. Also, we have Moaning Myrtle from Harry Potter. That's
Yes.
fun. Yes. And there's this Hogwarts tie-in, right? There's extra walking down the street, and I was just thoroughly enjoying this freaking episode. And then we also, in this episode, we see Rose's mom kind of showing the other side of things, the loneliness in a way, where she's left behind. She doesn't know about these adventures that Rose and the Doctor are going on. She just kind of gets to hear about it after a fashion, in the same way that Mickey felt left out. She's kind of left to suffer the consequences, and I love that they address that. Just because so far with the 13th Doctor, they haven't done that so much with the companions' families, so to see this side of things answer some questions for me shows a different side of things, like, hey, there are real-life consequences to what the Doctor is doing, and continues to solidify my love for Jackie.
Yes.
But, yeah, the fashion of it was just fun. It was a little goofy, but it was a great romp. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, I take it that the fan base hated this.
It's like the threshold of New Who.
Really?
No. I believe.
I like it. I like
It's
it too.
great.
I
Up there,
believe-
they're wrong.
Exactly. Partly for Moaning Myrtle, because I'm a big fan of hers.
And
She
I
was
might be
great.
mistaken, but I'm 60% right that there was a competition to create a monster on Doctor Who, and that was the one that won, was to create.
Really?
I think.
Okay.
And then there was some. I haven't watched it recently, so you've watched it more. There were some thoughts maybe about the fan base that maybe they were being made fun of by Russell.
Oh, I don't think so. I felt like it was in good fun.
Okay.
Also, I do get the kind of the conspiracy theory vibe, though, but it makes sense in the context of life on Earth, where if the Doctor is going in and tampering with all of these things and all of these events, surely somebody out there is noticing. Okay, this makes perfect sense to me, and the fact that they're having fun with it, let them.
Yeah.
It's
it reminds me
fantastic.
of the, I don't know if you watched any of Supernatural.
No.
But the two demon-fighting brothers discover that somebody is out there writing books about them.
Uh-huh.
And so it's like bringing fan fiction into it. And they're like, yeah, in the book, you guys aren't brothers. You're together. And it's just so fan
Of course
And that's a
you are.
fandom.
fiction-y. Yeah,
It's fan
yeah.
fiction.
And it runs through, as far as I know, I stopped watching it after a while, but as far as I know, that's something that follows through. You occasionally get these people popping up in the supernatural world who are like, yeah, I've read all the books about you, and wink. And so, yeah, that nod to the weird stuff that fans inevitably get up to.
Come on,
And
it's a
that's
nice
okay.
little wink and nudge. Have
Yeah.
fun with it, people. Stop taking things so seriously.
Yeah.
I also really like The Girl in the Fireplace.
I was about to ask you about, literally going to ask you about that because, again...
You guys talk, I gotta get another drink, because
Okay.
we've said doctor too many times.
Because, like I said last week, so you can probably listen to it now. For the most part, there might be still some spoilers in there. But last week, talking about Doctor Who romances, this was obviously one I focused on.
Yeah.
Because my theory, and I mean, this isn't a spoiler, it was that the 10th Doctor is the most romantic. Now, that's a scale. I mean, but to me, it's the most romantic of all the New Who Doctors. But and then having watched Casanova, which I know you haven't seen, which is a David Tennant series he was in, also written by Russell T. Davies, which literally was right before Doctor Who and how he cast him.
Oh my God, so incestuous.
You should have watched. It's very short. I mean, it's 2 episodes on Netflix. I mean,
that's
it was 3. It was 3 when it aired, but it's like 2 little movies, basically episodes. So I would highly recommend it. But it's whatever you want. It's on Casanova.
Okay.
But anyway, it reminded me so much of Girl in the Fireplace because David Tennant's an actor. He can do whatever you get him, but you will see the 10th Doctor, like 80% of the 10th Doctor in Casanova.
Yeah.
And again, because it's written by Russell and it's
also
David.
absolutely delightful. It's just a delightful show.
And I think it has that mix that you see it with Russell and David of it can be extremely funny and it can be extremely sad. It also has Peter O'Toole in it. But anyway, all that to say, what'd you think of Girl in the Fireplace about that romance, and is it creepy that he met her as a little girl and all that stuff?
My initial thought watching the episode was was this another former companion coming into the limelight? Because we had just gotten through school reunion. And I thought, are they doing it again? Am I getting more history? And then no, it just turns out it's this very long history. I really like the story. It's just a beautifully crafted story. It hits you in all the feels and all the right ways. It's good stuff. So many jokes about mistresses in France. I don't even know where to begin. And then the whole thing about taking a banana to a party. That's just a weird, whimsical doctor thing. That's cool. Drunk Doctor Who. I mentioned that earlier. That's fun. And he literally storms in on a white horse and saves the damsel in distress. I mean, what more do you want? So my big question with this, have we seen Madame de Pompadour ever in a previous installment of the show, or is this a new thing?
New thing.
Totally new.
Okay, either way, I bought the depth of the connection, so it worked. It was a beautiful story. The one thing that I just thought that maybe didn't quite work was that Rose and Mickey seemed like they were more than friends again. Like, they're just so on again, off again. I don't care at this point.
Friends with benefits.
I assumed, not having seen it recently, but I assumed that was sort of like, because, Mickey gets officially companioned, I guess, this series. But in order to allow the 10th Doctor to have a romance that's not Rose, they sort of had to
send her off with Mickey.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm not buying it.
So they're not cheating or something, I don't know.
Poor Mickey. Yeah. He's just got to be his own person, all right?
Yes.
He and Rose had a good thing before the Doctor. That was a long time ago now.
They had a thing. Whether or not it was a good thing.
It was a thing.
It was a
Definitely a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, she was 19 when this whole thing started.
Exactly.
But her
you don't know who
older.
you are at 19.
Exactly, yeah.
What about Tooth and Claw, the official introduction of Torchwood?
This was one that I don't think I appreciated it as much as maybe I should have.
You like Queen Victoria? What's your... No, I'm kidding.
The Victorian era werewolves, like, they were talking in the very beginning of the episode about going to 1979, and I almost wish they had instead. Disco vibes would be great.
David gets to talk in his natural voice for a couple minutes.
When you told me that David Tennant's Scottish, I thought, oh, well, isn't that interesting? Because I thought he did a really great Scottish accent. Little did I know at the time.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and Rhodes
really,
is not allowed to do Scottish accents.
That's so weird. I found the story of this kind of predictable. It's a special effects showcase, and it excels there. It's great. It kind of shows that up in production value again. But really, I don't know. I feel like you can just cue the conspiracy theorists and let them waste countless hours conducting research on whether or not the royal family is a pack of werewolves. That's what I get out of this.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
I thought they were lizards.
Vampires?
Probably all of the above.
Well, I think the Germans were.
The Germans were the vampires. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but the Germans are currently the current royalty in England, so... You think the vampires and the werewolves mixed? I find that a little unrealistic.
Well, someone hasn't watched a certain movie with Kate Beckinsale. So
that's primarily because you stay up way too late and watch
Underworld.
these ridiculous movies.
There you go.
Sorry, we're going to have a little domestic, and then we'll be right back with you.
Domestic disputes next on Time and Space.
It's the whole raison d'etre. So let's talk Doomsday then. What are your any remaining Doomsday thoughts or questions?
Oh,
I mean, the ending, right? That's self-explanatory.
well, right? Sure.
It's when the bride shows up, and
Doctor
that
Who.
feels like it just comes full circle, right?
I don't know if you saw it to the end of the credits where it says the Doctor will return in The Christmas Bride. Or The
Right,
Runaway
I
Bride.
assume-
Runaway bride, yeah.
That's going to be our next companion.
That's the next Christmas special, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right.
The Runaway Bride is the next Christmas special.
And do you know her? Do you know Catherine Tate?
That's, I think, yeah.
I know Catherine Tate, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of Catherine Tate. She's
Okay.
fantastic. I look forward to that. Daleks versus Cybermen. Okay, yeah, stakes definitely up. And
Never been higher.
I did love how comedic it was. It was like, you identify yourself. Daleks do not identify ourselves. You just did. Ha ha. You know, it's like, I love it.
right? Robot Wars. Now, okay, we didn't totally touch on the fact that when Rose touched the Dalek, what sort of impact that had. What is the impact of Mickey touching the Dalek?
I guess
Can
since
you
he's
tell me?
Since he was an official companion this series, you know, he gets the time traveler touch.
Yeah, all the radiation that's pinging around.
Since he's been in the TARDIS now.
And so
Yeah.
Mickey opened the door to allow all of the Dalek prisoners out.
Which I'd forgotten what it was, to tell you the truth. It's been so while since I
Yeah.
saw it. Because I just thought maybe it was going to, that it was like, because it's shaped like a Dalek. A little too much. But I guess that's why you keep him in there, the clown car. So, yeah.
All right.
I thought it was like a replicator, but it was just a big clown car for Daleks.
Bigger on the
Okay.
inside.
Yeah.
All right. The big thing, the other big thing that I got was, we get more interaction between Jackie and Pete.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't care that these goofy inventions made him rich. And I love that so much.
How
It's kind of
rich?
right? Well, we don't know.
How
It
very?
depends on what he says versus the reality. We don't know those numbers.
Yeah.
It's, it's kind of sweet that they find a connection until the Daleks come in.
Right.
Like just sort of like how, people gravitate toward one another in the universe no matter what, and some weird pattern that seems to exist in the world kind of shows that. That's great. But, my big questions were around Rose and just, oh my God, what just happened? Why?
Bad Wolf Bay.
Is Rose stuck in Torchwood? What is going on? And
I think not stuck in Torchwood. I think she says specifically she chooses to
What else?
work with Torchwood.
Because I like that. She's like, I'm working in a shop again. Like, no, just kidding. I'm headed to Torchwood now.
She shouldn't say she's headed
yeah,
Torchwood.
that
I know,
or shop. Torchwood?
Yeah,
Shop.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which one,
So she's
earns more?
using her experience.
So,
Yes.
okay, so question, is she going to be in Torchwood now?
No.
No.
I will. Yeah, we can go and
What?
spoil that. Well, let me put it this way: that companion will not be in Torchwood.
She's off being a prostitute. Diary of a Call
things
Girl.
didn't go so well, huh?
Yeah.
It's a different world, different rules. Other companions do show up in Torchwood, but not Rose. So,
Okay. Well, those are my big thoughts on Doomsday, and then I'll just kind of leave it at that until I see more.
right.
Yeah, because this Torchwood's an alternate world. I was trying to
Yeah.
figure out why didn't you have Rose in Torchwood? Because it's a different world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
with
that
it.
makes sense, right?
Yeah, it's Earth 6,
Heh.
7. I don't know how it actually works. In
It's
the
Pete's
Marvel
world.
verse. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Pete's
then
world.
again, Rose definitely proved herself as capable to do, a lot of things this season. Where some of my favorite things were where she and the Doctor would split up. He gets to shine and she gets to shine. Doing, kind of just using their respective talents differently to make things happen. So she probably found some way to get out, to get away, do her thing, and then whenever she shows up, and I'm looking forward to that already.
Yes.
Because, I was having watched, it was just now, I'm thinking about like the Christmas special, the Christmas Invasion, where she sort of on her own, with the Zacharek or whatever they're called, I forget. And she's like, making up the Shadow Proclamation, Rule 24 by the Slovene, So she's kind of like tap dancing, but in this episode, she's literally staring down a Dalek saying, I destroyed the Emperor, fear me.
Yeah. She is in charge, and I love that. It's so good. Yeah. Okay, speaking of Christmas invasion, Independence Day vibes much? Okay, also some Star Trek 6 vibes.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, that happened, for sure. That's in my notes.
All right. I like it. So then here's a question. What are you looking forward to, or what do you suspect about Doctor Who Series 3?
I have no idea. Everything got kind of shaken up pretty hardcore at the last minute, and so knowing that there's going to be now 2 series of shows that I have to watch,
to
kind of get a feel. Like I'll watch Torchwood, I'll give it a chance, I'll see what it's about. That said, though, I'll definitely continue with Doctor Who proper,
right, and
continue to watch David Tennant, see what's going on. I've got to find out who this next companion is, what is going to go down. I love how in this season there is a lot of continuity. They did a lot of world building, right? And so I'm just wondering, where is that all going to go next? Are there going to be new things? Are they going to call back to other things that I don't know about? I've got to find out.
So, we don't spoil, but I do want to at least give you a heads up. So
you've become that guy that they were talking about on West Wing. He's like, don't, I'm not going to spoil it, but this thing that happened at the end.
This is the favorite part. Well, I say,
it's like super important.
Well, I just think you should always have a watchword. So, like, Series 1, Bad Wolf. Okay. Series 2, Torchwood.
Okay.
Series 3, 2 words to always look out for. Vote, Saxon.
Oh.
Okay. And at the moment, I have no idea what that means.
No.
I'm just because, it's one of those...
you won't for a while.
Right. But it's just, if you would watch Series 1 again, you would notice almost every episode, Bad Wolf is written somewhere in the background.
Yeah.
I mean, not every, maybe it is every episode, but, you know what I'm saying? But if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know to look for it. But, and then Torchwood, because they say it. It's in the Christmas Invasion, you get Torchwood and Tooth and Claw, Torchwood, and then Torchwood and the Lesser. But Vote Saxon, you will see an election poster. So just look out for it in Series 3, Vote Saxon. And then it'll all come to...
Oh, and it's a new introduction. That's so exciting.
Yes. Oh, yeah, and so you can now tick... I'm trying to remember, because looking at the list. Now you've ticked off 2 classic Who villains. So you've already done the Daleks with Series 1. Now you've met the Cybermen. What do you think of the Cybermen? Who look very different. This is their reintroduction. This is a whole new look than what they looked like in
they
classic.
they have followed through. They used to look like sock monkeys. I'm not wrong.
So it's a little refined now.
Yes.
Okay.
Bigger budget on BBC. We talked about this earlier, but
Google Google Images Cybermen.
Monkeys.
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay. So I have no idea what that's about. I'll Google it later when we're done. I'm looking in my notes for where I have my description of the Cybermen.
Delete.
Yeah.
Who apparently had to, in the real thing,
this is funny.
When they're filming, they had to be connected with elastic bands because they have no peripheral vision in the costumes. And so they had to connect people who were walking side by side to make sure they stayed side by side.
Whoa.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's intense. Wow.
Yeah, behind the curtain.
Yep.
So the way I describe the Cybermen is it's a cross between the Borg from Star Trek, Tin Man from Wizard of Oz, and C-3PO from Star Wars.
Wow. That's a good call.
That's a good summation.
And then...
You forgot Sock Monkey.
But, she wouldn't know.
I wasn't aware.
Yeah, it'll come up later.
So it's just interesting to note that the Cybermen first appeared in the first Doctor's last story, the 10th Planet, his regeneration story. So that would have been, I don't know, it's off the top of my head, so I'm probably going to get it wrong. 6?
Well, no, 69 would have been the premiere, isn't it?
63.
63.
Because Kennedy gets shots.
Okay.
Yeah,
but that's what I was trying to base it off.
Yes, but I think he only did 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's probably 66 or 67.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, the Cybermen were produced in the late 60s. So now
That's why they looked like sock monkeys.
but now when
Okay,
you
that
think
explains
about
everything.
But
Yeah.
now when you watch the Borg, I think someone was a Doctor Who fan. Is all I'm saying.
All right. Okay. I can't wait to Google this. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, that's worth seeing. Yeah.
Especially when because this doesn't happen anytime soon, so you'll flush this out of your memory. They bring back the originals later in a later series.
really?
Yeah, I was going to say, you could wait, but it's,
Yeah, she'll forget it by that time.
yeah, 7 series away or
Yeah.
something, so you got some time.
Well, you know what? That's true because when we think the TARDIS is gone, when it's dead, I have in my notes a couple of times, oh, the TARDIS isn't dead. It'll come back. But you know what? I got so engrossed in the story that when the TARDIS did finally come back, I had forgotten about it. I'm like, the TARDIS is back!
Was that like the Satan pit or
Yay!
something when they thought it was going to be? Yeah.
Yeah. So, the storytelling was that good to help me forget so that it really was a surprise. That was great.
There you go.
And I think when
Yeah.
it comes to writing a Doctor Who episode, it's not formulaic, but it can be, where you have to split the party. So you always have to split the Doctor and companion, so they have 2 stories going. And then often, but not always, you have to lose the TARDIS, so the Doctor doesn't have all his powers, or her
Sure.
powers.
Of course.
So it's always interesting how you accomplish those things. So,
Yeah. Good times.
cool.
Yeah. Except the one where the TARDIS becomes sentient.
Right. Well, which is a good
Huh?
episode. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You'll forget
Okay.
about it by the time it gets there.
Yeah. Sexy.
All right. Everything's fine.
Awesome. So, you're still engaged in Doctor Who after 3 series and looking
Yes.
forward to more. So, like I
Yeah,
said, you're
I'll
locked.
watch more.
Yeah, you're locked in for Tennant for a while here. I mean, that's for good or for ill. Obviously for good.
For
but,
good,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's not a bad thing. No.
Yeah.
No, he's delightful. And you're going to be sad when he goes, but Matt Smith's going to be so exciting, too.
But that's not for a while. So.
Yeah, you've got some time.
Got time.
still.
Yeah, I got a lot more to watch now. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Now, are we in the golden age of Doctor Who right now?
Yes.
Like what you're watching now or where we are
Yeah.
now?
No, like what I'm watching right now. Was this kind of like the peak of Doctor Who fandom thus far?
I wouldn't say it's the peak at all.
Really?
Because I would say, and I'm not the expert, I would say Tennant's era built it up in Britain. Look, because Christopher had 1 year. I mean, Chris had done longer. But I think Tennant brings it to a peak in Britain, in
Okay.
UK. And so when he leaves, it's big. And the filters that had begun in the US and worldwide, we're sad to see him so. But Matt goes global. Matt, I think the 11th Doctor era is when it gets global fandom.
I mean, I love
really?
Matt
Okay.
Smith, and I'm hard-pressed to choose between Matt Smith and David Tennant.
Ooh,
Because I think that's really...
ooh, that's hardcore.
Yeah.
Because there's always been American Doctor Who fans. Of course, there have always been. But I think 11th Doctor hit mainstream... Well, not main, but mainstream fandom.
And I do think you're going to see a lot of similarities between the 11th Doctor and the 13th Doctor. I'm kind of excited about that.
Ooh, okay, okay. I'm rubbing
But
my
no.
hands. I'm excited.
Yeah.
But it's,
I love Matt
it's
Smith.
unsurprising that when it comes to New Who, a lot of people will list 10 as their favorite. I
mean,
don't know,
I can see why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not having
Oh,
full
yeah.
context, I see why.
And there's
Yeah,
more
he's
to
a
come.
lot of fun. I want to hug him.
You're barely halfway through.
Yep. You haven't even seen the episode where he meets his wife yet.
He
That's
has
true.
a wife.
Well,
Oh,
Or
so
the
many
one
things
where-
I have to learn.
I was actually thinking about the one where he meets his actual wife.
No, I know. I thought you did that too.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I will say this, and this. I mean, I know this is so stupid, but this next series is my favorite of all the Tennant seasons.
Oh,
I would
boy.
say because I mean it has
Okay.
my favorite companion of his. B, and I always thought it was like, well, I just like the companion. But then when I look at the episodes, I mean, again, without having episode list in front of me, 80% are out of the park. I mean, you have even the bad ones aren't bad, but like they're all boom, 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 boom to me.
Nice.
So.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
well,
really
I won't
cool.
spoil
I
it,
mean,
but-
really, I felt like this season was pretty solid, and if you're telling me that the following is just as good, if not better,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because we do still have Blink coming up, right?
I know.
Next
yes,
season?
Blink. You
I
have
can't
Shakespeare.
wait.
You
Can't-
have.
I remembered Shakespeare.
Lots of things.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about it. I think we need to have Char on as soon
Gridlock.
as she finishes watching Blink. Because that's such an iconic episode.
Yeah, it's one of you. I'm trying to think when I say this, but I think this is right. I think the biggest introduction of a new alien species villain.
Yes.
So like, just like the Daleks and Cybermen are classics. I think the ones you'll get introduced in Blink are on the list of the ultimate Doctor Who baddies.
Yes. Yeah, and it also has Carey Mulligan in it, and she's delightful.
So
all right.
Yeah, that one's a fun.
I'm
early in that? Because, like I said,
I think it's probably before Family of Blood and the two-parter with John Smith, because I think they had to film so much.
Oh
that's
gosh,
what,
yeah.
Which is another.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
There's so much good stuff coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to have Char back on to talk about Blink, because I do think it's such an iconic.
Yeah.
Iconics.
Okay, I'm excited. You have me enticed.
I'm excited.
I know. Because those issues too. So, for folks who want to listen to more of you and not spoil you, of course, listeners, because that is the pact we have.
Yes.
Where can folks listen and contact you?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter. My handle is OhTheProfanity. And if you are not sick of hearing my voice, you can go onto the nerdparty.com and look up Punch It, where I co-host a podcast called Punch It with Tristan Riddell, and we talk about writing in Star Trek, and I also do a vidcast with my husband. Much like this show uses a married couple, we do a thing, and it's about reviewing Babylon 5, where my husband is watching the show for the very first time.
Awesome.
Excellent.
All right. Well, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
When you close your eyes,
I go to the library.
go to the library now.
And now for our Into the TARDIS library, we're going to talk about Blackpool.
Yes.
Another TV series starring David Tennant, which premiered 11 November 2004. Would you like to read the synopsis?
I would love to. The plot concerns the murder of a young man in a Blackpool arcade and how it affects the people involved in the arcade and the investigation. As the investigation proceeds, it takes its toll on the characters Ripley,
David Morrissey, under suspicion of murder, finds his public and private life slowly unraveling as both his bullying nature and long-forgotten demons from his past return to haunt him, whilst David Tennant, intent on proving Ripley is the murderer and planning to use Natalie Parrish. I don't know.
David?
Parrish?
Should we assume David? Let's assume David. To get to him, finds himself genuinely falling in love with her instead.
So what do you think about this series of singing along to songs?
It's mad as a box of frogs, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
I was reading on the, I think it was a Wikipedia article, but anyway, that the soundtrack is available, and then they explained why each song was chosen, which would be interesting. I did notice there is, we only watched sort of 1.5 episodes, but there is certainly an Elvis motif, which I guess is supposed to be obvious.
Las Vegas,
and Blackpool, and
Morrissey looks a lot like
Elvis. He has
Elvis
the sideburns, and
they
have Elvis and the gambler at the end of the song with the ice cream or whatever.
Yep.
And so
Elvis, and
the first song is Viva Las Vegas.
Yep.
So, but yeah. So, what do you think of Davis? This is 2004, as we said. So this is pre-Casanova, and so. What did you think of his role in this? I think it's 6-episode series.
Yeah, so far he's good. This is Broadchurch the musical.
He's very well. I mean, this is going to sound stupid. Obviously, he's Scottish, but like I think he's letting it all out. This is one of the few series where I hear him at like 100% Scottish.
Yes, yeah, and Ripley at one point refers to him as Braveheart. A little bit, but Ripley seems to be that kind of guy because he has lots of dreadful derogatory things to say.
I think, and I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think the favorite moment for you so far was these boots were made for walking with the choreography of the Davids. Step,
step, step, twist, step, step, step. Twist. Now our foreheads are together. Now we're dancing in a tango. It was surreal. incredibly surreal.
And also, I'm afraid to now take you gambling because I think you'll be disappointed that if we use any slots, it won't have David Tennant's face on it.
I know. In a proper little bobby hat kind of thing.
Or a cowboy hat.
Or a cowboy hat, because these boots were made for walking. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely absurd. That does not mean I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting because there's, and I forget. I mean, I could look it up, but I'm not going to. But I forget who wrote this. But it is sort of one of those things like a Broadchurch where you have this main thing. I mean, it's much smaller, of course, in scope than Broadchurch, but even though it opens with a murder, but you have this sort of population of these main characters, but then you sort of populate it with all these other characters. This sort of, I guess they're all supposed to be suspects, I suppose. So,
yeah.
Which I guess is the same thing against Broadchurch too. You create this town, but the reason you create the town is that there can be so many suspects.
And I'm still relatively sure, much like Broadchurch, that it's David Bradley.
Exactly. Once again, the first Doctor pops up again.
Do you think this is where David Tennant earned the nickname DT? Because there were too many Davids in this cast for them to call them all by their name. I assume that must be.
And then did he slide into the DMs?
DT sliding into the DMs. You're so weird.
That's how the choreography chart went.
Yeah.
DT needs you to slide into DM in this part.
Yeah. That's weird and creepy and perfect for this. Might be the prostitute, because she's the prostitute with both the dad and the son.
Yeah, which is,
Yeah.
And then I can't remember the actor's name, but the David Tennant's partner, the police department, do you recognize him?
No.
He was in Torchwood. In the episode, I know you don't memorize all of it. It's the episode where the guy just suddenly appears, like he's always been there. Adam, I think. But anyway.
Okay.
He suddenly appears, like he's a member of Torchwood, and he's always been there, and he knows everyone, and I'm trying to remember how that ended. But anyway, yeah, so that's he was in Torchwood episode.
Okay. Well, and one of the dead guy's friends looked familiar to me, which suggests he may have ended up on Hollyoaks or something like that.
He was young.
Yeah. Yes, and you said this was 2004.
Right.
And so I was not quite in my, hey, I'm watching Hollyoaks phase. So that didn't come until 2005 for me, when I was living with my housemate Mel. Because that's where I watched Hollyoaks, and that way where I was first introduced to Chris Hemsworth via Home and Away. Because she was all up in the soaps.
And, I mean, I've never sat down and looked at David Tennant's filmography, and I guess it's dumb to say it, but I'll say it. He's obviously a working TV actor, so he's doing... I mean, I know, British TV only has so many episodes. But, so, yeah. But anyway, he does this one, and then he'll move on to Casanova, and then he'll move on to the big one, Doctor Who, and then, Broadchurch, and then...
And he managed to fit Hamlet in there somewhere.
As you always do.
As you always do if you are a male British actor.
Good, But I mean, as far as... And I guess when I thought about it, and again, I know it's a different country, different industry, but to have an actor who's consistently in TV series. And maybe that's true for all of them, but obviously he's one we're noticing.
Because it's the 10th month.
Exactly. And he's actually... I haven't looked at it. There's something on Netflix now that he's in.
Is it Good Omens?
No, that's on Amazon.
Somebody should... Make that clear.
Make it clear.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it is, because I just remember seeing that it was the UK version, and then there's like the same thing, but it's like the German version or something or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but I just remember saying, oh, there's David Tennant on a Netflix show that I haven't seen. So,
he's working.
Yeah, he's working.
And running his podcast and apparently having a baby.
That's right. He has another mouth to feed now.
Yep. So he's got to keep the working.
That's right.
Keep the working.
All right.
So what are we going to talk about next episode, my love?
Well, we're continuing our 10th Doctor celebration and observation.
Celebration and observation.
I meant
I
said to observe the holiday, not to observe the... But anyway.
Oh, what holiday?
David Tennant.
Oh.
The 10th month as the 10th Doctor.
Holiday.
Yeah.
That's the whole month is the holiday?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to be off work?
I mean, It's supposed to be.
So who do I need to talk to about that? My boss, I guess.
I think we're getting overtime.
Excellent.
But I thought we'd just go and have some fun and just do some lists.
Oh, I don't like fun.
I know. Well, trust me, I know after 3 years. But I thought we'd just do some lists. So, like, lists of favorite series, list of companions.
Like, you can't say your S's.
List of favorite episodes, whatever. We're going to do some rankings, some forced ranking of like, you list the top 3 companions in order. So, who's your 1, 2, and 3 for David Tennant?
Okay.
10th Doctor. I mean, there's more than that, I know. And then the series, which one are the best, and then even the specials of the 4th. So we're going to force ourselves to make some choices.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm not good at choices.
Right. Well, so you said on the wedding day.
Now you're just being mean. Don't be dreadful.
But as always, we want to thank Wally and the Sononauts for providing us with their jazz Doctor Who theme tune cover.
Whoop.
And until next week, enjoy the Doctor's many adventures throughout
time and space.
This is BBC Television.